Stay, motherfucker.
Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned.
What up, my guy?
What's up, bro?
How you feel?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Just trying to hang in there, man. You gotta put the food together up here at the studio. What's going on, my guy?
Chilling, man.
What you got? What you doing over here with this live stream? I seen the podcast. I like the podcast.
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
So y'all gotta shut that down. I was looking at something. It was y'all were on there, and it was what's my man name?
Wait.
What's my man? The white kid be freestyling his ass off.
Oh, Sharon.
Man.
Woo!
Man. I was like, I hope he don't say my name. He killing everybody right now.
Yo, no. He's like, man, I'm not just saying this because he's my friend. I don't know who can beat him. Like, I talked to him. He told me, like, he's smoked, King Los and all these guys. And I just don't know who can beat him. Like, on flowing on a beat is different. But, like, as far as freestyling and punching every line, it's insane. I've seen him do it for hours.
Was he really freestyling when that shit that I seen?
100%. Even I didn't even see those cards. I didn't know what they were. My man Quake, who you actually have a song with him. He printed the cards off where we went, so I didn't even know what they were.
Quake Matthews, right? That's
Quake Matthews, yeah.
My guy. Okay. Yeah. That shit was incredible, man. That shit is incredible. Incredible. I always admired people who could do that, man. I never could do that. You know who's real good at that? Proof.
I heard.
Yeah, he was a master. He was a master at that.
I heard.
People used to try and test him at the open mic all the time. They used to try and catch him on the spot and see if they can catch him off guard. He was always ready. Always ready, bro.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous too because as rappers like you and I, like when I say rappers, I mean like rappers. We rap, you know what I mean? Freestylers are dangerous because like just say you got like a local rap beef with someone, not a beef, but like you don't really like each other, and he's a crazy freestyler, and he shows up at a party and catches you off guard. It's like, oh, you can rap, eh? Let's go right now. I'm like, oh, shit. You feel like you forgot your weapon. You know what I mean? Right. You feel unarmed. Like, freestylers at any time, that's a dangerous quality to have, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. The way he was doing that shit, man, he ain't stumbled one word. Shit, I would have stumbled over a written. I stumble over my written. This motherfucker's not even stumbling over a freestyle. That's crazy.
Yo, first of all, man, I really want to thank you, man. Like this means a lot to me because it's so crazy to me. Like you, Action Bronson yesterday, Method Man the day before. I had Corey Guns, like all these other people. The fact that you guys even know me, like I'm not one of the battle rappers that are like, yeah, but look, it's still crazy to me. So like this isn't Hot 97. This isn't whatever, like a big platform. You're doing this out of the kindness of your heart and respect for me that I wouldn't even have imagined you guys having. So I really mean it sincerely. Thank you so much, bro.
Well, thank you, man. I mean, I appreciate those kind words, but it's culture, man. It's culture, and we respect you. We respect you because you're a juggernaut at this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can't tell you no. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wanted the coldest. And then you got a platform, and man, we gotta like treat this shit like one. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta treat this whole little ecosystem that we have. We gotta just treat it like one. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta stop separating, the battlers from the established guys. This platform versus that platform. It's all speaking to the culture. It's just speaking to different, people's tastes. Not even different levels of taste, just different facets of taste. You know what I mean? Like, I'm into the battle rap shit same as you are. It's like two people being fight fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't trip when you see Denzel in a fight, you see whoever else at a fight. You know what I mean? Like, we all fight fans, you know what I mean? But it just went from an artistic standpoint, it's just admiration, like it's the respect is mutual, man. Like, I fuck with you. I fuck with every battle, every single battle.
Thank you, man. How do you have time to watch these 6-hour battles, bro? Like, I know not saying that, I know everyone expects rappers are the busiest guys in the world. I'm sure you are busy, but do you find them too long now, or no? You're tuned in for every second.
You know what? I haven't really seen anything in a minute. I haven't seen anything, and it hasn't been because I've been so busy. It's just haven't really caught my. It hasn't kept my attention lately, man. I don't know what's been up with me, man. Like it's like fucking ever since I got this studio, it's like I can't watch TV. I can't focus. I can't hyper. I'm hyper focused on the things that I'm really, really into, and then other things I can't quite. They can't quite keep my focus. You know what I mean? So I don't know what that is. The last battle I watched was Los and Head Ice. That's the last battle I watched.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the last one I seen. I mean, I seen clips and shit here and there. You know, I talk to Bishop Brigante. That's my guy. So I talk to him all the time. So he always telling me about shit, sending me like little clips and shit. But I used to like tune in and not miss nothing. When I first got sober, shit, I never missed a battle. Now it's just like I'm either writing or I'm down some rabbit hole trying to figure out how to make some kind of beat or looking for some sample or just nerding out on some shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope though. So you didn't see me smoke Tay-Rock or Suge or Averb?
Nah, you beat Tay-Rock? You smoked him?
Bro, I've been on the biggest streak of my life, like the biggest streak of my life. And I'm not one of them guys who say I smoke people. Like I beat Averb in a judge battle. I smoked him, but Tay-Rock, both crowds it was Summer Madness, and no, both crowds were like 2-1, 2-1, almost like dragging me out the like. Okay, bro, okay, like you got it, man, chill. Like I smoked them both easy. I got K Shine next.
What crowd was it? What crowd was it that y'all were like? Where we at?
London. It was that was the first one, Tay-Rock, and then the second one was Houston for Shotgun Suge.
Okay. Yeah, I like Suge, but you know, Suge is like, I could see you beating him because sometimes he's kind of funny, and that's one way that you get people, like with the humor that you add to it, and like you figured out a way to implement a certain side of a personality that we wasn't used to seeing. You know what I'm saying? So like, why everybody is got the gun back, rock the gun back, and then you come with some funny shit. Funny is gonna always win. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like funny always win. That's like, and now it's to the point now it's like the madder you appear to be, the worse off it's gonna be for you. So yeah. I'm talking to M about this type of shit all the time. Y'all dudes, the funny ones, the ones who are funny and not corny, are very difficult to beat because you can't just be super lyrical. Like Suge is lyrical. Suge can rap. You know what I mean? But Suge, everybody he rap, it seemed like he about to punch him in the face. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, it totally.
I could see you winning over a crowd with him, and he's still having ill rounds. But you know, just winning over the crowd just because you kind of like, you know, captivated him with like personality and shit. So
yeah, it's crazy that like but I understand why you and M and other people like, you know, watch battle rap. Of course, you guys are rappers. Like it's still huge to me, but I totally get it because you guys are real spitters. So when people are like, can you believe that they watch battle rap? I'm like, bro, like they're doing the same shit. They're just doing it. It's just two different things. You know what I mean? So we admire each other so much. It's like, I guess boxers and MMA fighters, I'm sure the respect is like, not even, I shouldn't make that comparison, but you know what I mean? It's still doing the same type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. I think that's a pretty accurate comparison. But the thing with me is just that, like I fell in love with the art of rapping at the open mics, battling. But see, that was like 95. That was like 95 when I first started really like writing and shit like that and going to the open mic. So it's like the first time I went to the hip hop shop, I walked in there and I see Proof. I didn't know nobody. I see Proof, Elzai, Eminem, all of D12. It was probably about 3. I think T3 may have been in there. Okay, so I go in there and people, they like passing the mic around in like a circle and they battling each other. And this is the first time I've ever seen people rapping against each other, but they're talking about what they're wearing and all of that. That was my first time seeing that. Because, you know, like the internet wasn't like ever so present like it is today. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like standard for people to have computers in their houses. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first time witnessing people battling on that level. So I was just intrigued by it, you know, like especially when Elzhi got the mic and the way he was connecting all these syllables together and the way he was using punchlines, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when I finally like got mustered up the courage to grab the mic and shit, I started rapping the shit, you know, and DJ Head is on the 1s and 2s up in the it's like a DJ booth that's like elevated up in the air, and he proof passing the mic around, and you got to rap, and if you don't grab people's attention quick enough, then they put gong music on and you got to pass the mic. So when I finally got the mic, I rapped and I got gonged. So I left the hip hop shop and I wasn't gonna go back, and I thought about not rapping no more. If it wasn't for this place called the Ebony Showcase, you wouldn't even be talking to me right now.
Wow.
Because Elzhi, he spooked me. He spooked me. I had never, it was like, and me and him the same age, but he was just like one of them dudes that was just overly developed. You know what I mean? He just knew things that other people didn't know. He was nice, super nice. So, you know, so I fell in love with it like that. And then, you know, like once we started seeing y'all on the net, and then y'all elevated it so much, shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can we not watch it? You know what I'm saying? It's like we fucking living through y'all. You know what I mean? Because for all intents and purposes, I can't go back. Marshall certainly can't go back. I don't think I could go back because the amount of time that it would take, you know, like it's like being in shape. It's like flexing a muscle. You know what I mean? Like if that muscle is not in shape, you're gonna get killed. You know what I'm saying? So the time it would take me to prep to be able to really, really, really be competitive against one of y'all, I don't see where I would even have that kind of time to be able to do it, because it would take so much away from something else that I got to do. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's not really worth it for me, because as much as I would love to do it, it's not really worth it for me, especially if I lose. You know what I'm saying?
But you know
that and still lose and shit.
But the key point of that, though, man, and I know this is genuine. Your issue is time. You're like, because you're so busy. A lot of people are like, I just think I'm not built, because you are built for it. And I'm not just bullshitting. I seen you say on Matt's show, you were like, you know, because he asked, do you think you would take some coaching from people? Would you whatever? And you were like, I don't need that. And I know you didn't mean that in a cocky way, because I actually think you wouldn't need any type of coaching, like barely even guidance. I know that if you weren't like, yeah, I wouldn't blame you for not going to battle now, because you're busy. You got so much stuff going on. But if you had to, you'll come in and smoke shit. Like, let me ask you something, man. I'm just gonna chuck a random name out there, not for controversy or nothing like that, because that's not what I'm here for. Whatever. Let's just say like an industry rapper called you out and you had the spare time. Like, if say like a Cassidy or somebody even like whatever was like, I want to battle you, and you somehow had 6 months. Would you do it?
If I had 6 months? Yeah.
Free.
Of course I would do it, man. Like, that's like that. I would love to be able to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it'd be so fun. It'd be so good for culture. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit, I would love to be able to do something like that, especially, you know, against somebody, you know, that I respect like that. I respect Cassidy, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be like, that should be great. 6 months is that's probably the minimum amount of time I would need to write 3 rounds? Yeah. 3 rounds and memorize them? Mm-hmm. Have them memorized to the point where I can just spill them bitches? Yeah. I would need at least 6 months. Yeah. And that's because my memory is real bad.
Is it?
My memory is real bad, yeah. Real bad.
You know that I think Joe would actually do good again. I think that, you know, for his first time, there's always, you know, you always have time for error and stuff. And I think, this is me personally, I think his only error was doing, like, for example, when people are like, yo, Pat, don't joke, you got to come and bar out. And I did that versus DNA for my first round. No one liked it. I think if Joe would have left out when, you know, 5-hour energy, like, and kept to the Joe shit, the passionate shit. Here I go again, making another bitch famous. Like if he because Joe has a certain skill, like you can write punchlines and bars and schemes and give it to the next man, and he can perform it the best he can. But you can't teach or give Joe's passion and Joe's, you know, that side of Joe. So I think if he embraced that, which I'm sure he won't battle again because he doesn't even rap anymore, but I think just say, you know, hypothetically, if he embraced his, you know, his main skill, he would do good.
Of course. I mean, Joe's a syncopation guy. You know what I mean? Like he's a battle rap, you know, like obviously aficionado, and he prefers to do his battles on beats. He's a battle on wax guy, but he's a rhythm guy. You know what I mean? Like you could kind of like when he was rapping, you could tell that it was really hard for him to spit the shit out and leave all those gaps that y'all like leaving. It's like y'all make it really, really conversational. And something like that, when you're used to writing songs, when you've been writing songs for 20 years, you know, it's kind of like it's a big switch. You know, like I don't think that getting coached from one of y'all would even help. You know what I mean? It's something that you just gotta kind of like matriculate into. You gotta get out there and get hit by some cars. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the only way you're gonna know. It's just like with boxing, you know what I'm saying? Like you see all these niggas, you see all these rappers and shit like in these videos online hitting these bags, but it don't really mean nothing until you get in there and spar to somebody punching you and somebody trying to punch you in your face. That's when you learn. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same. It's the same. I think it's the same thing. So I think one of the mistakes that the quote unquote established rappers make is taking that for granted. And then the other thing that I think that they take y'all for granted. You know what I mean? Like they for whatever reason they place their skill set above your skill set, and that's a mistake. They just assume, you know, that they're gonna wash one of y'all just because maybe they have a bigger fan base or be a part of some machine that just happens to speak to more people than y'all platform. But I mean, I look at y'all like the top tier guys in battle rap. Y'all are like the fucking the god tier guys of that part of the art form. You know what I mean? So why would you look at that any different from how you would look at Jay-Z or Eminem or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, man. Joe, I asked Joe a couple weeks ago to come on here, but you know, he got hair now. I'm sure he's doing like shampoo commercials or, you know what I mean, shit like that. So he got his hair growing. I think he's like reenacting. I think he's doing Jesse from Full House. He's stepping in. He's doing. Shout out to Joe, man. I appreciate Joe, man. I'm a big fan, man. I seen Joell Ortiz at one point said that he could smoke any battle rapper, but you know what? I think that at the end of the day, that's just a competitive nature and him showing respect in an underlying way. You know what I mean? I think he would do good as well.
Joell?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Joell is like, I would probably give Joell the best shot at jumping in there really quick against one of y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Joell got a real good memory, and he's really charismatic, and he's not as picky about the syllable usage as me and Crooked is. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Crooked, you know, like Cali dudes and Detroit dudes are a lot alike, but me and Crooked just happen to be just alike. You know what I'm saying? So like, there has to be some multi-syllable wordplay in there in order for us to feel fulfilled. It just happened that we've been like attacking it that way for so long that we can use the syllables and use punchlines and make the lines connect and make sense and tell a story. You know what I'm saying? So like Joell ain't giving a fuck about all that. He'll go in there, he'll be funny. You know what I'm saying? He'll write basic punchlines, he'll write a few complex ones, but the most important thing is he'll be charismatic because he's hilarious, man.
I heard he's hilarious, bro. He is. Who's the funniest rapper you know? I'm genuinely interested. I was on live with Method Man. You know who he told me? Scarface. I blew my mind.
Face is funny. Who's funny?
I know M's funny.
Yeah, M is funny. Joell probably one of the funny. Joe pretty funny. Lil Boosie is fucking funny. Who else? Schoolboy Q.
He's funny?
Hilarious. Hilarious.
I love this shit because, you know, I'm a humorous person. You know, I was on live with Action Bronson. Have you met Action Bronson?
Of course.
So, you know, I'm just going to say this openly. For someone who prides himself on, you know, being a humorous guy and people call funny, you got to drop their pride when you're talking to him because he is funny. He is funny. That guy.
Yeah, I heard he was pretty funny. I heard he was pretty funny. I know Mac Miller was funny too, man.
Yeah, he seemed real funny.
Mac Miller was funny. I ain't never really been around meth, but I could see all the Wu-Tang dudes being funny.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I could see all of them being funny. I could see Ghost being funny.
Yeah.
Shit, it's a lot of rappers that are kind of funny. Some of them hold back. Some of them don't like showing everybody that side of them. You remember when Fab? You remember when Fab was on Twitter? Fab was hilarious on Twitter. Fab tweets. Oh, you know who's funny? Alchemist is funny.
Is he?
Alchemist is hilarious, bro.
Well, he has to be. Look at his crew. You know what I mean? You got to be Action Bronson, Simon Rex, Riff Raff. You hang with them guys, like, you know you're a funny guy. You know what I mean?
Al hang with Riff Raff?
Yeah.
Oh, they got to do some music together.
Yeah, and fucking Andy Milonakis. Like, that's their crew. I see them hanging out all the time. So, shout out Alchemist, man.
You still living in Canada?
Yeah.
Where's that at exactly? Where you at? You in Nova Scotia?
Nova Scotia, yep.
Okay. You born and raised there?
Yeah, born and raised.
How you learn to rap like that? Who were you inspired by coming up?
You know, believe it or not, I didn't listen to lyrical rap. No, you cutting out. Shit.
You got me? Yo.
Good. I'm good. Yeah, good now. Believe it or not, I didn't even start listening to lyrical rap. So I was inspired by Tupac. You know, Tupac's my favorite, as you can see behind me, right? Mm-hmm. Favorite of all time. I listened to mostly like West Coast shit, like, you know, DJ Quick and, you know, Dog Pound and shit like that. Shit that wasn't necessarily lyrical. And funny story, man, and I mean this, I couldn't bullshit if I wanted to. The first song that made me start writing lyrical when I was rapping was King of Kings.
Really?
Yeah, I was inspired by that song. See, I would listen to Terror Squad. That was one of my first albums, and they're super lyrical. Every verse was lyrical as hell, and I was fascinated with it. But I don't think I was rapping then. I may be writing a little bit, but when I started writing, I was mostly just flow and shit like that. And I remember listening to King of Kings, and I was inspired as hell by that. I was like, damn, man, this is some crazy shit. You know what I mean? And then I started flexing with more lyrical shit. You know what I mean?
So what made you want to start battling?
Well, I was already rapping, so I was known in my city for music and stuff like that. Not that much, but a little bit. But I seen a battle around here. Two guys, they battled, and it was just kind of like World Rap Championships, like Thesaurus and Immaculate, shit that I started watching. I was so fascinated with, right? And I was always a class clown type guy. I like center of attention type of shit. I was funny, you know. So I said, well, let me jump in. So I went to this other guy's neighborhood named Critical, and there's just a gang of people there, and I brought my buddies, and I tried it out. It wasn't something I thought I was destined to do. I was like, I can rap, he can rap, let's just do it. And I did it, and I guess I was really, really, really good at it. I just seen it happen a few times, like World Rap Champions a few times. Seen it happen once in my city, and I was like, whatever, man. I mean, you know, when you're young, everyone writes battle raps anyway. Everyone does. Everyone's first rhyme is usually, I'm this, you're not. You know what I mean? So I was already writing battle raps as a young man. So I guess I just had the character for it.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
You definitely rap like a natural. We call y'all guys ringers.
What is it?
Y'all are ringers. Y'all ringers. It's just in you.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
you just got a knack for it.
I appreciate that a lot. I do appreciate that a lot. Yeah, Terror Squad was my first album, but other than that, like, I was not into lyrical shit. It's weird. DMX, like, you know, he's lyrical, but to an extent, you know, I was more into like the vibe, the feeling and shit. And people can't believe it when I tell people this shit, but like, even to this day, when you came on, I'm bumping Snoop Dogg, Lottie Dottie. You know what I mean? That's the type of shit I vibe to, you know?
Yeah, it's got to be it's something up with you if you're not a fan of the Doggy Style album. Something up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yo, are you?
I don't know about anybody that's not a fan. Anybody in the culture that's not a fan of doggy stylists. It's something up. That's like across the board, man.
I feel like if I was driving in a car and I was with a rapper, especially, or someone that was involved in the culture, and they said doggy style sucks, I might have to kick him out. I almost kick him out. Like, how could you say that? How could you say that?
Yeah, it's fun watching that album transcend, man. Just go from generation to generation to generation. That's like that album right there, man. Snoop ain't had to do nothing else after that. He could have just whatever. I come out and work whenever I feel like it, just because of that album. You know what I mean? Like that shit is here forever. That's it forever. So when I start hearing albums like that, it was like, damn, like this is way, way beyond just being able to rap about, you know, rapping. I feel like I'm watching a movie. You know what I mean? This shit just inspires different. It inspires different. I think, Snoop is funny too, man.
Oh yeah, he's fucking funny, man. He's funny.
We got Banks in here. I love Banks. What up, my guy Banks?
Man, Lloyd Banks, I am sick of you, bro. We talk all the time now. You're always on the live. I'm just joking. Lloyd Banks is my homie. He's my homie. He's always tuning in, but he won't come live with me. It's about time, Lloyd. Let's go live, man.
I feel like we don't get enough Banks raps.
Me too, man. Me too. I got so much respect for Lloyd Banks. He's dope as fuck. What up, Lloyd?
We don't get enough Banks. We don't get enough Banks raps. We got to work on that.
I agree.
My nigga, chilling.
Yo, we just talked about timeless shit because you said doggy style. I was on here with BG Knockout the other night, and I thought about something just right off top. I was like, there's never been a Tupac Dear Mama since. There hasn't been a Dear Mama since. Like is that like just to think about that? Like who has recreated even close to a Dear Mama since? Like I can't even think of one, man. Like
probably Song Cry, maybe Song Cry.
Yeah, maybe Song Cry.
I mean, you know, like it just seemed like rappers don't think to go there. For some reason, Pac was the perfect example of this. Pac never did that thing that rappers do where they separate themselves into different people. Like, you know, right, I'm gonna do my song for the ladies. I'm gonna do my song. He just did whatever he felt. You know what I mean? Like you could tell it was just whatever he felt. He never really limited himself. You know what I mean? And back then, it seemed like more emphasis was put on making great albums just because of the way things were sold. You know, like when you start literally renting music song for song, you got to expect that that's going to affect the intention behind the creation. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't think that it makes sense to even do albums anymore. And if they decide that they want to do them, they're not approaching it like, I'm going to make a full body of work. They're approaching it like, okay, I'm going to have a certain amount of songs. They're going to be on playlists, on Spotify or whatever. So, you know, just the way the technology is advancing and all of that, it's just making the artists look at it different. You know what I mean? Same with the beats. You got all these programs like Logic and shit like that. Logic, Fruity Loops and Ableton, and you know what I mean, as these programs progress, they make it a lot easier for you. So it does a lot of things for you, and it makes it to where it's like you don't really feel like you have to learn certain things. You know, like Quincy Jones learned to read. He learned to write and read string progression. You know what I mean? And as technology started to take off, now you don't have to learn theory at all. You don't have to learn to write music. You don't have to learn theory. You know what I mean? So imagine where we're going to be in, let's say, 10 years with all the programs doing everything for you. It's already causing like a uppour of just a whole bunch of beats to sound exactly alike. Like when I start making beats and shit, I start looking at the tutorials and shit on YouTube. And it's like every tutorial is telling you to approach the beat the same way, the exact same way. So it's just causing a whole bunch of like conflation. You know what I'm saying? This shit is crazy.
No. It's super dope that you're doing beats, and I respect. Like, since I know that you're such a competitive person, you're going to be great at that too. I mean, you already are, obviously, but you're going to excel to the point where you're fucking one of the greatest. I believe it, just because of who you are or whatever. But like, who do you look up to? Like, if you had to name the top like few producers like ever, like for me, I know mine is, you know, mine's DJ Quick. You know, he plays so many different instruments. He's a brilliant, you know, whatever. Who is obviously Premier, because I seen you talk about, you know, you go back and forth with him about your beats. Anybody else you look up to as a producer?
I mean, I think we all look up to Dre. You know, he's
Right.
always gonna be number one. He's got like, Dre got like the number one spot and the 1B spot. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's 2 tiers ahead.
Yeah.
And then we can start looking at everybody else. You know, like I think Pharrell is Pharrell is the other best producer that I've ever met or that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
He literally can do anything. You know, like he's not just a beat maker, he's a producer. And he can take you to any realm that you need to go to and somehow still make it cool. Like that happy song is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard in my life. It's one of the greatest songs that's ever been created, ever in the history of music. The happy.
He's amazing. He's amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. Like
it's amazing.
He figured out in our culture how to make a record that everybody can agree on. There's nobody. Oprah likes the song. My mom likes the song. I like the song. My kids like the song. My girl likes the song. My killers like the song. My big brother liked the song. He in prison. He liked the song. She liked the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just a song about being happy. And that's something that, like, that's not generally touched on in our culture. You know, we tend to like vent. We tend to vent the things that bother us. That's more of a release for us. So for him to just approach it and just talk about being happy and sing about it and do it in such a catchy way, in such a cool way, and then attach it to something so cool as like the movie, what was it, Incredibles or something? One of those movies. I love that shit. But yeah, Pharrell he could go pretty much anywhere. So I put him there. Kanye. My man Bink. Of course, I ain't got to say Preem. I mean that's a lot of people right there. Yeah. I love Toomp. I think Toomp is great. I think he's super underrated. The Dungeon Family.
Oh yeah.
The Dungeon Family, you know, they did great things. They did great things. I love listening to the different ways that different producers from different places approach the same kind of samples. You know, like Alchemist is really great, and he got like a certain way that he approaches samples. He finds obscure samples that nobody else finds. And then, like, you know, you had these waves of people, everybody flipping soul samples, but just depending on where you are demographically depends on how you approach flipping that soul sample. You know what I'm saying? So like, I love obviously the way, you know, like the New York guys flip soul samples. And then you hear somebody from the South, like Big Crit, he'll approach a soul sample, but then he'll add all of the elements to it that makes it sound South, like the 808s and the hi-hat arrangements, and you know what I'm saying? And it's always so interesting. And then you got somebody like, that's like a straight up scientist, like let's Knox, right? Knox from VA, probably the most scientific beat maker ever, right? And then he'll take that same soul sample and do some shit to it where you won't even know that that's a soul sample. And then you have somebody like my boy Porter, right? One of the greatest. He'll take that same sample and then he'll turn it into some shit. He'll have it sounding like it's not even like voices. He'll have it, you know what I'm saying? He'll take it and just dissect it and do some whole other shit to it. So it's just like, I just like studying that type of shit. But you know, I like guys like that though.
I can tell that this, by you telling me this, how passionate you are right now and interested in the producing side. I'm genuinely excited for the shit that you start creating, man. Because I know if you're face to face with a rapper, the rapper you are, you're pretty confident you can rap back. You can out rap or at least, you know, hang your ground with anyone. But from you know, if you're around certain producers, you're gonna be like, God damn. So the driven person you are, and the competitive person you are, you're gonna try to reach that level, man. I'm excited, bro.
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to producing. I mean, I already came to this place in terms of just like in terms of rapping. like artists, I just learned that it's not really a competition like people think. You know, like we're competitive. It's a friendly competition thing from a friendly type of level. But, you know, like taste is so varied and it's so subjective. You know what I mean? Like there's no way as late as I started that I'll ever be able to make a beat better than Mr. Porter.
Right.
But I may be able to come into the studio and be the decision, the person who makes the decision to either add or take away from something that makes it better. You know what I'm saying?
Which is still dope as fuck. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So it's like it's all about how you want to contribute to certain songs. You know what I'm saying? Like my passion is not necessarily beat making. My passion is more so producing, which is a different thing. You know what I mean? Beat making, I know I'm not going to be able to make a better beat than guys that are world renowned for making beats, but I think I can come up with something that fits what I'm trying to do. So if I feel like if I can't create that, then I'll just put myself in the position to where it can be created. I'll put the right person in the room, or I'll have somebody else produce it. You know what I'm saying? I'll have somebody else do the beat. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know how much actual beat making that I'm going to actually do. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a field thing. I'm not like, you know, I'm not coming in here every day. I've been writing lately. I'm not coming here every day making beats like I was when I was doing the album. But I mean, I love doing it, you know, but I get around guys like the Nine, I just watch him. Bink came in town for like a week. I just mostly watched him.
That's dope. No, that's dope, man. I hear you. I wouldn't be able to make a beat for the life of me, man. Yo, I seen, I forget what interview. No, it was probably on Matt's show. He said, "Why haven't you done a song with Nas or whatever?" And you said, you know, like Nas and Jay. Would you say those are the two people, like rap wise, that you would want to do a song with the most?
Hell yeah, yeah. Nas and Jay. I probably wouldn't put one ahead of the other.
Right.
Either or. I mean, it's two bucket list MCs for me.
Yeah.
You know? And I can understand why it hasn't happened. I mean, I haven't really tried like super hard. Just to be honest, I've never had like a song that I was so sure about where it was like, yo, Jay-Z needs to be on this, and sent it to him and got an answer back, or sent it to Nas and got an answer back. I've kind of extended olive branches, but I haven't actually pursued it like I should yet. But it's definitely something that I'm going to do in the near future. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely don't want it to just be some song where we just rapping on it. You know, I just want it to be something that, you know, that can go into my history books.
Yeah, straight up. That's good.
After this shit is all over with, that's all we're going to have is the memories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. So it's like I want that to be one of my memories. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a few milestone things that I can reflect on, that I can kind of like tell my children about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would like for those two things to be, you know, to get added to that for sure.
And it will, because you're doing crazier than ever, man. And like, you know, the next Renegade, man, it could be, you know what I mean? Renegade was fucking huge, man. And like, I think that I don't have to say the next Renegade or whatever, but I think that when the time comes for you and Nas or you and Jay or whatever, it'll be that big, man. And, you know what I mean? I shouldn't compare Renegade or whatever, but you know, one of my favorite features from M, though, like it wasn't even Jay or nothing like that. It was Marilyn Manson. Would you do a song with Marilyn Manson?
Absolutely not.
No?
No. I don't fuck with Marilyn Manson.
Oh, okay. I don't know any bad side about him. I just know him as an artist.
Yeah, he played too much. I don't like dudes like him.
Oh, I don't even know that. I was gonna say, yeah, no, I didn't know that. He's crazy. I guess it'd be weird, like if you're like
he better be crazy over there. He better be crazy. He better be crazy somewhere else.
Yeah. I guess it'd be weird. You're in the studio. He's like, yo, Royce, like, you know what I mean? I'm not really feeling this joint too much. Like, I'm real anxious. I'm going to go to the bathroom for a second and blow myself. I'll be back in a sec. Hopefully I'll be, you know, have a better attitude.
It's crazy, man. Nah, he be on some bullshit behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Just like saying crazy shit,
really?
about different ethnicities of people and shit like that.
Oh wow, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that.
No, I don't fuck with that. I didn't know that at all. That's crazy. I seen a couple of his videos, and he had an artist. I don't know who produces it, but either way, but yeah, no, that's what's up. I didn't know that.
Did you listen to him coming up?
No, I didn't listen to him at all coming up. I was just intrigued by like I'm big on interviews, right? So I was intrigued by his interviews. I thought he was I would say brilliant in his interviews that I've watched, and I liked The Beautiful People and Sweet Dreams. I didn't care about the songs too much. I love the visuals. From an artistic standpoint, I love the visuals. I only like listen to funk, rap, and R&B my whole life, so I just really couldn't get into that type of music. But I didn't know Marilyn Manson anything deeper than that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic creator. He's a fantastic creator, but it's just like, it's not really a big deal. It's not like he's in hip hop. You know what I mean? Like,
But still,
it's not like he's in hip hop doing it. But like, he has very choice words and opinions.
Yeah.
And they're cool as long as they stay over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel about that. So it'd be no way I could work with nobody like that. You know what I mean? But
Good.
What was it? What was the song that they did? I think I do remember him sending them a verse like a long time ago. You talking about like back in like '99 or something?
Yeah. I remember they performed together, right? They performed on I forget what platform it was. They performed what song was it? Somebody will say it in the comments here. I forget. But yeah, no, they performed together, Marilyn Manson and Eminem. I remember it. I know I'm not tripping.
No, you might be right. You might be right.
Yeah.
You might be right. For sure.
This one, I didn't bring you on here for any type of controversial shit because, like I said, I know this is a topic that gets brought up a lot, but since it resonates with me so much, I thought I would bring it up. And the alcoholism shit. And I always looked up to you, and I watch your interviews sometimes for inspiration, because I've shared with you before that I've struggled with alcoholism since I was super, super young, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to know, like, see, one of my main problems with alcohol wasn't drinking every day. It was who I became when I was drunk. Is that something that fucked with you too? Like, did you become a fucking shitty person, or was it the opposite, just drinking every day and you could be completely normal?
Nah, I mean, anybody who think that they could drink every single day and be completely normal is just in denial. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, there were times that I felt like, I was fine. You know what I mean? But it's just that's like a denial thing, like I'll get drunk fighting all the time, just being in finding myself in situations that like was getting in the way of my livelihood. You know what I mean? Like, bad judge of character was a big one. You know what I'm saying? Just like picking the wrong people to be around. And just, like when you're drunk, when you're not in your right frame of mind, and you like you kind of like on autopilot, and people can take advantage of you if you're not sharp.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I just found myself in a whole lot of situations where I knew just looking at it that if I had been sober, that I could have diffused it, or like found a way to get to a better place. Because as I grow, I realize that that's what this shit is about. It's about finding a way to get to a better place. You know what I'm saying? So like when I was drinking all the time, it highlights a side of me that's not productive. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a side of me that does not care about finding a way to get to a better place. It's like a side of me that don't mind being in the fire. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not, that ain't really conducive to anything productive. It's not, I can't be self-serving to my kids. I can't be of service to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then, hurting people, doing things, causing harm to people, things being done to me. It's just like, it really, that type of shit, it don't really have to be a part of life. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be from a certain environment, but then like after a certain period of time and after a certain age and after a certain amount of development, you got to kind of like start being accountable for your own actions. And I just knew that I was the one inviting in a whole bunch of, you know, bullshit. You know, so when I looked at everything that was wrong in my life, I felt like, you know, drinking was the common denominator. So I'm like, okay, if I cut that out, then maybe I can just start taking better steps. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what happened. I definitely ain't like the person that I became. You know what I'm saying? Like, my wife didn't like me. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really like attached. I didn't really have a connection to anybody. I didn't have a connection to my kids. We were like roommates. You know what I mean? And then like the people who I was around every day, we bonded through drinking. You know what I mean? Like we go, we all be at the bar, we be drinking and shit. We be having fun, but it's like you're not really building nothing. You know, like it's like Groundhog Day, over and over again. One day same as the next. You look up 5 years and went by, you built nothing. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is about building. Every single day with your children, you're building something. You know what I'm saying? Because trust and believe, you're going to have to look those decisions in the face again. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you a quick story. I was on the, we was on the Prime 2 tour, me and my man Preem. So, we had to cancel the tour because Preem's dad called him and was like, his dad was on hospice. He was like 90 years old. And he was like, son, I need you to come down here to Houston. That's where Preem and him is from. He was like, I need you to come down here because I don't think I'm going to make it through the next couple of days. So I need you to come take me and take me to the house. And I need y'all to be here because I don't want to be alone, right? So Preem canceled the tour, went down there. So him and his sister, and then Preem's mom, who his dad has been with the whole time, they brought him to the house. Preem's dad built that house. He built that house. So I'm like, So that tells me that he's a long-term thinker. You know what I'm saying? So like, now here he is laying in the bed in his house that he built with his kids around him, who are all college educated, including Premier. He has his wife standing there, his queen, and then he look at them. When you look at them, you look at all your decisions in the face. That's your life flashing before your eyes right there. You know what I mean? Because that's the extension of your life. You know what I mean? That's what that is intended to be. And all of those long-term thinking decisions and those well-prepared decisions that he made, they all paid off in that moment because he looked at all of them and then he passed away. That's gangster. There's nothing more gangster than that. It ain't nothing I could do to nobody in the street that's more gangster than that. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's crazy, man. No, and you're right, bro. Like, and like, yo, there's nothing that feels worse than like coming home fucked up and like your kids crying because of it. Like maybe you had a bad attitude, you yelled or smashed something or whatever, and like, yeah, like you can't get that back. You know what I mean? Like, they'll remember that forever, man. I came home one time all fucked up and smashed something, and my daughter had told me, she's scared when I come home late. It's been a while, but she's scared when I come home late because she's scared of that person. And that shook me, that hurt me, you know what I mean? Because I'm the nicest, friendly giant in the world. But yeah, man, it's like, it's something you gotta face, man. And the kids, like, that's what it's about. And like you said, it's the people like that you bring around, because when you get fucked up, you're not around the people that, generally, you're not around the people that care. I shouldn't say care for your well-being, but you don't call your mentor when you're fucked up. You call the people who want to get fucked up with you. You know what I mean? And end up getting in trouble. And people that, they care about you, but they more so love your company. You know what I'm saying?
It's a cool phrase I like using when I'm referring to this. I always like to say, I've had some really, really great relationships with people that I've never met. You know what I'm saying? People who I've never met and who have never met me, because as soon as I got sober, you don't even have to cut them off. They just naturally fall out of your life because they just don't fit. They don't fit anymore. You know what I mean? So if you think about it, like all of the girls and all of the, just all of that shit, they never seen me sober, so they don't even know me.
Right.
But they just know what they think they know. They know what they think they know. And when you getting drunk every day, you're showing everybody one thing. You're showing everybody one thing. Just like what we was talking about with Tupac. Tupac showed you many things. He showed you that how dynamic a human being could be when they don't limit themselves. He showed you that on one hand, he can be extremely, extremely, extremely angry, violent. And then on another hand, he can be extremely emotional. He can be extremely sensitive. He can be extremely articulate. He can be extremely intelligent. He can be extremely naive, and he can be extremely enlightened beyond his years. It's just the layers. It's the layers of a kid that's, that comes from nothing. You know what I mean? And like when you get afforded a platform and you got an opportunity to be able to express that, express it all.
Yeah.
Express it all in life. Like it's some people, bro, like I see them and they look like they just tough guy mode all the time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, like, man, you in that place. That's like I call that the dark cloud place. You know what I mean? It's just like it's limiting yourself to the ultimate fifth power.
I know that dark cloud so well, bro. I know you do too, bro. Like, and so many people know me for it. So many fans know me for it. I've ruined so many relationships. I've like so many fans I've met when I was under that dark cloud, and that's just not me. And still to this day, I got to apologize to people when I meet them. Like, hey, that wasn't me. That was old drunk Pat. And after a while, I started becoming bitter with the people that I would surround myself with. Even though I'm my own man, I was surrounded with myself with people who I just wish they'd be like, yo, Pat, grab me, be like, you got something going for yourself, man. Get the fuck out of here. You're out here wilding, doing crazy shit, 4 in the morning, getting in trouble, involved in whatever. Your whole career could be done tonight with what we're doing right now. But instead, they're just like, yeah, man, here's some more of this, here's some more drugs, here's some more whatever. And like, I can't be bitter with them because, like I said, I'm my own man, but it just shows how much people really care about you. You know what I mean? And the people that I would distance myself from or like laugh at as like squares or nerds, to me are the coolest people now, man. It's weird because, you know nerds, what we called nerds back in the day, like me and my crew, it's because they were like, had a high vocabulary or they're like smart in science or some shit like that, or like quote unquote smart. But the nerds were the realest dudes. To me, the nerds were the realest dudes. You know why? Because first of all, they weren't judgmental. They were the most diverse group. They would have a fat guy, skinny guy, black guy, white guy, Asian, goth, whatever. They weren't trying to compete to be the toughest, the most athletic, the most talented or whatever. They were just in their own little group, mind their own fucking business, man, for the most part. You couldn't look, you know what I mean? Whereas
that's how it was. You saying in school, when you was in school?
Yeah, and growing up, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like
even in like the neighborhood and shit.
Well, yeah, maybe I guess, but I surrounded myself with a different crowd. But like, yeah, I didn't really hang with the nerds when I was young. But when I because nerds, but really they weren't nerds. They just minded their own business. They were not judgmental people. They just did their own thing, and they like to learn. But when I'm around them now, like we still have so many differences or whatever. But I'm like, man, I could really learn from these guys. And these guys, like, they're not passing me drugs. They're not saying let's go, do this fucking crazy shit. Man, I don't know, man. I feel like I wasted so many years around, I can't say everyone because I love all my friends. I love my friends, but a lot of people didn't actually care for my well-being. And it's ironically the people that were the most passionate. Like, I love you, bro. I got you. I'll die for you tonight. I'll do this. I love you to death. And you believe them because they speak with so much passion and whatever. And then I haven't spoken to none of them. Where are they now? They'd rob me if they could. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always say, whenever I'm talking to one of the little homies and they go, yeah, they introduce me to somebody and be like, yeah, man, this is my dude. This is my day one right here. This is my day one. This is my day one. I love him. I could trust him. And I'm like, you could trust him? Like, based on what? Oh, that's my day one. That's my day one. I'm like, so you measure trust? You measure trust by how long somebody's been around you? Like, has he ever been put in a position? Has his trust for you ever been put to the test? Let your wife take her clothes off around him. See what he
Right.
does, or put him in a position to where you think he thinks that he can get away with stealing some money from you, and see if he passes that test before you just put all your eggs in that basket and just jump out the window and just assume that he down for you just because he's your day one. Everybody don't grow with you the same way. You know, like you can be connected to somebody at a certain age and you start to become successful and that person turns into a completely different person.
No, I don't want to cut you off, man. Will you? It's giving me 10 seconds. Will you come back on? We can wrap it up if you're busy, whatever. Will you come back on? I just have to press N for 1 second here.
All right, I got you.
Thank you, brother.
All right,
sorry about that, man. Yeah, live only gives you 1 hour, so if I didn't press N when it was giving me the countdown, I wouldn't have been able to save it.
They don't respect you, Pat. they let Preem and them go for 8 hours last night.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh yeah, that's true. How would they do that?
Nah, Swiss probably talked to somebody. Swiss or Puff, or Timbo, one of those giants. Probably spoke to somebody.
Yo, you know what you just said? That was super real, man. Like the first thing you said, oh yeah, you trust him? Let your wife take your clothes off around you. That's fucking true, man. That's fucking true. You know what I mean? It's true.
It's like you know, like everybody just be like, "This is my dude. He'll kill for me." Okay, well, what has he killed for you?
Yeah.
He'll shoot for you. Okay, will he shoot for you when it's just two of y'all with guns and it's four of them with guns? Will he shoot for you then? Will he shoot for you when his life is on the line? Because now we're talking about a whole nother level of riding for you. Because everybody think they want the business until it's the business. Yeah. So it's like that's my thing. That's my thing. It's like stay away from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you ask for that. You ask to be in those positions. You just may end up in those positions. And that's easy. That's the easy part. Getting in those positions, that's easy work. That's easy work. It's nothing. We could do that every which way. The thing is about figuring out how to not be in those positions. That's the best position that you can be in as a person for your life not to be on the line. Because somewhere along the line we just accepted living on the edge in that way as a reality. That shit ain't no reality. I lived all of my 20s and 30s like that. Shit is ridiculous.
And you know, when you're popular, a rapper or anyone, bro, you know how fucking easy it is to have a dude. How many people are gonna ride for you? So many. Be like, yo, man, he got my back. So what? That's what he does. He fights. He loves violence. Of course he's gonna do it. Of course he's gonna do it. That's what you want someone to be like. Instead, be like, yo, Royce, like, calm it down, man. That's not worth it, bro. Let's get out of here. Let's just whatever. Not like, yeah, let's get him and put your freedom at risk in your career. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying fuck them guys. It's cool. It's good to have ride or dies or whatever, but it's better to have the guys that are like, bro, you're bigger than that. You're Royce the 5'9". You're Pat. You know, you guys got shit going for you. Let's get out of here. We'll have a beer at a bar and take it easy. That's not worth it. You know what I mean? That's the people I like to surround myself with more nowadays. Because my whole crew is just wild. Wow. And then everyone knows it for us too. If we show up at a bar, us, you know what I mean? And it's not anything I'm proud of. I'd rather surround myself with people who, you know what I mean, who care about my actual well-being.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, that's part of growing up, man. You know, like we all did that. We all felt like we needed to fit it. It was like our desire to fit in. And I think that's common amongst creative people. You know, yeah. Once I started to that place, the Ebony Showcase I told you about, once I started rapping there and I started getting like attention for it,
yeah,
I started to feel like I had a place. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm starting to be accepted for something. You know what I mean? Before that, it was basketball or just, you know, being at the park fighting and, you know, getting into stuff and all of that. Like all of these things are just young people trying to find their way, find their place. You know what I mean? Like people with a purpose and driven people tend to not get involved in those things because they're so focused on what they want to do and where they want to go. You know what I mean? It's always the guy that's like, oh, I don't know if I want to go to college. I don't know if I want to, maybe I'll have a fight in the meantime. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it be and shit. You know what I mean? So it's like when I preach to my son, it's just like, what do you want to do? You know, okay, somebody wants to sign you, but what do you want to do? What do you want to be in this shit exactly? Because you got to know, you know what I mean? Like if you don't know, then that means you just making adjustments as you go along. And that's never good. How's that gonna work out for you? Can you imagine? Could you imagine if you approach your battles like that?
Yeah.
I just worry about that when I get there. You get smoked every time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it took me a really, really, really long time to get really, really comfortable in my skin. You know what I mean? Like, and it was everything you saying too. You know, we project the things, the qualities that we have, that we feel are good qualities, that we project every day onto our people. We project onto our people, and we expect the same thing in return. We expect everybody to be exactly like us. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a mistake. You know, it's a mistake to like be around somebody and be like, yo, I need somebody around me who's gonna tell me, yo, no, Royce, come on, man, let's not do that. Nah, I need to not need to look to nobody that's around me to tell me that.
Yeah, you're right.
I need to not be in those situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the same with music. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of artists think that, you know, whenever you hear somebody that's like doing some really good shit, and then like they do something that's not so good or not as good as the shit that they were doing, the first thing you always hear is, oh man, he don't got nobody real around him to tell him, you know, that shit ain't good. And it's like, bro, I hate that everybody is repeating that and spreading that around, because that's not what creativity is about. It's not about having people in the studio telling you how to do your shit.
Right.
If you are a creative and you get to that place and now you're relying on that to be able to feel fulfilled, that's the most dangerous spot you can be in.
True.
The key is to know. The key is to know what you want to do. And you play it for somebody to get their opinion. They can tell you how they feel about it, but not the determining factor. Not that person's going to tell you whether you're doing it right, whether you did right this time.
Right.
Because then you always searching for validation at that point. And this shit is it's not a search. Like, artistry is not a search. It's not a journey. Like, if you're chasing, then you're going to always sound like you're chasing. But if you can get to a place, destination, you get there. You get to a destination where you're living in the center of your truth right there. Your feet is planted. You know what I mean? You are who you are. You were who you were before you got there. And you're just telling your story. Once it gets to that place, nobody can tell you that you didn't tell your story the right way. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? You tell them when it's done. They don't tell you when it's done. You tell them when it's done.
I think that's the most beautiful thing. Like, I think that's the biggest achievement. You just said, like, you know, you're now, like, you know, you feel you're comfortable in your own skin. And I know everyone wants to pretend that they're the most comfortable in their own skin, but most people aren't. And I really think I never knew why I would get drunk and angry, why I would become that person. But the truth is, I think it was just because I was not comfortable in my own skin, and it was a defense mechanism. I seen a Justin Bieber interview, and I think, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself in 10 years, or where do you want to be, or something? And he said, I just hope that, you know, about, you know, being comfortable in my own skin. I thought that was the realest shit I ever heard. I was just like, yo, that's such an honest answer, because most people would assume, oh, he's comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Like, we have demons that we run towards because we're not comfortable. And I think that's like the pinnacle, if you can be truly 100% comfortable in your own skin. Man. Word.
Well, you know, I think the key to getting there is therapy. Therapy, or just figuring out a way. Nah, I'm not going to say or. I think therapy, because therapy makes it to where you actually start to learn yourself. You know, like when you go to therapy, and then you start to be able to understand some of the things that may have traumatized you, or things that may have happened to you that you may be holding on to, that you may not know that you're holding on to. You know what I mean? Like, when I drank the first time, I took my first drink with Dr. Dre. You seen, I said that in the Math interview. And I just said yeah, because I didn't want to say no. It wasn't like I'm gonna go drink today. You know what I mean? Actually, my thing was I don't drink. That was my thing because I was an athlete. So, you know, I just, you know, I kind of like I went against what I would normally stand for just because it was Dr. Dre asking, because I'm such a fan of him. I admire him so much, and it's just a drink. So, you know, and he was just being cordial. He was being hospitable. So fast forward maybe 10 years later, now alcohol is a problem because it's feeding something. It's allowing me to go away from feelings that I would normally suppress. See, like when you're young, some shit happens. You don't deal with it. You don't talk about it. You just kind of push it to the side, never to be discussed again. And you feeling like that's how you deal with emotion. And then, you know, you do it that way with one thing, then another thing, another thing, another thing. They come out in some shape, form, or fashion. So if you're drinking, that's like a crutch. That's like helping you suppress those same feelings. So all you can do is just keep feeding it. It never goes away. So when you start to discuss these things, you start to realize that you didn't forget them at all. You know what I'm saying? And then I started to understand that nothing is by chance. Everything relates to something. Everything's correlated to something. You know what I mean? I didn't just accidentally become a drunk. You know, there's a string of things. There's a trail of things. You know what I'm saying? So once you're able to identify with these things, that's when you can fix them. But if there's no identification of these issues, they don't get fixed. People go through life and never fix any issues. You know what I mean? So as an artist, in order to be able to learn yourself, you have to identify with the things that created you. All of the trauma, everything that makes me everything that I am, I need to be able to locate those things. And once I'm able to do that, then I can make my improvements. I can make my improvements as a father. I can make my improvements. So people always like, yo, why do it seem like you're getting older, but you're getting better? Well, I'm getting better at expressing myself. Right. Not necessarily as a rapper, but I'm getting better at expressing myself. So to you, it sounds like development, but really I'm just developing as a person. Right. So the whole concept of paying attention to the climate and all of that, that's not going to make you better. It's just going to make you aware of all the weak shit that's going on. You got to work on you. You got to study you, learn you, and then you can always get better. You'll just continue to get better. You never stop developing. You know, like people go to school, they go through high school, they go to college, and then after that, it's like, oh, there you go. Well, that learning thing was cool. All right, learning. See you later. I'm going to just go to World Star every day now. You know what I mean? And then it comes back through the art in some way. You know what I mean? Cannabis was the biggest threat in the world. That nigga went to the army and came back and it wasn't the same.
Right.
Every decision matters. You know what I'm saying?
I really considered it when I watched you and Charlemagne talking about it. It wasn't the first time. I rewatched it today before I came on here with you, but talking about therapy. And I just been like, you know, when someone you look up to, which would be you for me, when I see you guys talking about, and Charlemagne, I look up to him too, talk about it, like the importance of it and the benefits. And it inspires me. It really makes me think about it. And especially as an artist, like it totally makes sense to expressing yourself. Like, yeah, you didn't learn how to, you know, rap faster or rap like more technical. You learned how to open up and understand who you are, which enables you to express how you're feeling in a more, yeah, like it totally makes sense. It sounds like it like unlocks a superpower, and it's something that I probably will look into, man.
Yeah, not even to cut you off, brother, but if you even if you don't, even as an artist, if you don't choose to tell personal things about you, you may be a private person, but having a clear understanding of who you are makes it to where you know what angle to come from. You know what I mean? Because it's all kinds of ways to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I could let you know who I am and what I stand for as an MC and what I stand for as a man without telling you all my business. You know what I mean? It just depends on how you want to do it. But the more clear you are of who you are, the easier it becomes, you know, like to convey that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it just works. You know what I mean? It works across the board.
And better with your family. That's dope. That was another thing I picked up when you said how to treat your wife better, your kids, and whatever. That's good, man. That's dope.
You know, you just become more conscious of improving on those things. You know, it's always a work in progress. You know what I mean? Like I still get on my girl's nerves. You know what I mean? I know I'm not the greatest father in the world, but I can look myself in the mirror and know that I'm better this year than I was last year. You know, and I expect it to be the same next year. You know what I mean? And it's just making the adjustments, man. It's just figuring out what works for you in life, and applying that shit. Because you definitely can't do this shit if you're distracted.
Yeah.
Everything got to be, all has to be well. That's why I don't think younger artists understand how important it is who you pick as like your girl. You know what I mean? And I don't think the girls of the artists understand how important their role is in the success, or maybe not the success, of the person who they're supposed to be supporting. You know, like if you start expressing things to them, in a way that makes them self-conscious, understand that's going to affect everything. That's going to affect everything. If somebody comes in here and says, yo, my girl, I'm down right now, my girl, you know, she on me about this, she on me about that, you better believe that that's going to be one day that nothing gets done. So they need to understand that support from them is equivalent to like you going to a job interview and they just laid out your clothes and tied your tie for you and made you oatmeal. It's the same thing. You go to that job interview and you'll probably get that job because all is well. You got nothing on your mind. But, you know, if your girl is fucking, she ain't helping out, you getting in the car, you ain't got no gas, you barely make it to the interview, you're probably not going to get the interview. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to keep ourselves in positions where we're not thinking like negative thoughts that's taking us backwards. We need to figure out a way to be in a positive mind frame at all times. If you don't have somebody around you that can help you facilitate that, man, it ain't nothing wrong with just staying single and not burdening somebody. You know what I mean? But everybody feel like they got to jump into a relationship. Well, if you're going to jump into a relationship and you chasing this shit, you got to understand that you're going to have to make some sacrifices. Because I swear, man, I work with engineers and shit like that, and everything is cool until it's time to really work. And then they fold. And the first thing I hear is, man, I got kids. Well, bro, I don't empathize with that, man. Don't nobody got as many kids as me. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, you either want this shit or you don't. My son was born in 97. I missed the first 6 months of his life. Didn't see him for 6 months because I wanted to go get a record deal. You got to make sacrifices. You know, the first thing a motherfucker will tell you is what he not going to do. Motherfucker come in here and be like, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. Well, shit, you can't have a job then, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go home. This ain't for you. You know what I mean? Because it look real easy on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It look extremely easy on the TV, and everybody looks extremely successful on TV. Well, I'm sorry to let you know that that is not true. Everybody's not as successful as you think.
Facts. That's very real, man. This is, you know, I appreciate this last half of the conversation, like the most, and I mean, you know, I appreciate it a lot. It's very inspiring. I'm sure anyone watching, it's an eye opener, man. It's totally right, man. Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me, man. Once again, man, I appreciate you, man. Love and respect to you always, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, brother. Have a great night, man.
Peace.
All right. Peace. I had to press N real quick because if you press N first, this whole thing would delete. Man, what a great dude, man. Much love, guys. Thanks for coming on. Peace.